Show's almost ready to start, everybody. 3 more minutes. Here we go.
TJ, she the missus, the fam, Marcus, the kids back there. You see T. It's gonna be a beautiful night tonight, man. It's gonna be a beautiful night tonight. You got a French fry? Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Yeah, I got my brother from another mother right here. We are in the building. Hey. Call me if you need me. Hey, he about to go get that jacket. It ain't gonna be gold, but he about to get that thing though.
I like that black one better.
Yeah, he about to get that one. That's all he needs. And guess who here to see him get it? Yours truly, your boy.
Oops, I forgot about that. All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome tonight. We got a good show for you. We got a damn good show for you. Damn good show. Fiona in the house, Phoenix in the house, Millie's in the house, Oya's in the house, Feisty's in the house, and everybody up in the clouds in the house. We're about to go get down to the get down tonight. I want to show you two men. We're going to go into this, and it's going to get really good tonight. It's going to get really deep, though. So here we go.
Holla at your boy. 80, 10, 9. Yeah.
How old is Chad? Chad Johnson, age. Chad's 45 years old. Chad's 45. Welcome, Legs for Life. Chad's 45. What does a 45-year-old man do, for his pastime? Let's see. He's getting up there, maybe he's, a little exercise, maybe some fishing or something, who knows, whatever, right? Whatever's clever. So he's going to get with his girlfriend, right?
Everyone.
This was a month ago. So he has a girlfriend from a month ago, right?
I'm proud of my guy. My brother from another mother.
Okay, we went over Terrell, and we all went over Terrell and how that messy that was.
For real, bro, right there. Look at it. Yeah, that's the real bro. Yeah.
I have a theory. Broken men break broken men. That's what I think. Here we go.
Yeah, adopted brother. You see some real long. Let me see the back of that thing.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. That's good. Okay.
Hey.
Wifey. Okay, so let's check. Okay, this is a month old, right? And that's his girlfriend, or fiance, whoever they're lying to this day. This is what happened. This is what they into. Let's see how old this is. Let me pause it right there. Okay. Well, that's three. No, I don't want that one. This is the one I want. No, that's not the one. That's the same one. Okay, here we go.
You wouldn't have mind.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it right there. This is just a day ago. And why this is interesting is that it's what does it say here? It says Chad Ochocinco. No, I'm not gonna read. I'm gonna let you find out. Here we go. So I'm gonna reel that back a little bit away from the intro because I can't play the music. Quita Ward in the house. Quita, it's good seeing you. Real good seeing you. Here we go.
In the DR with them women.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay, how's the audio out there? Can you guys hear it? Okay, let me give it a little taste. I want to make sure y'all hear this. Okay, these are middle-aged men, by the way. Okay, middle-aged men. They're literally just a smidge younger than me. Here we go.
And we was in the DR with them women.
Oh yeah,
I had
the big girl. I took the. I had to take one for the team. I had the big girl.
Sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you get.
Yeah, man. Hey, like I always tell people, that big girl. Hey, big girls need love too, man.
They do.
You know what I mean?
They do.
Yeah.
Well, we went by.
Okay, so he's got a girlfriend, right? Welcome, Madison. Now, you just saw me play the other video where he has a fiance or girlfriend who was wearing a shirt that said wifey on it, right? Don't fall for that wifey shit. A wifey, you don't have to say you're a wifey if you got a freaking ring on, right? New Diamond nailed it. The dust is spreading fast. Absolutely. Absolutely. They are literally on here bragging about participating in an orgy.
We went through about what 17 women in what? In 12 hours.
Was it 17?
17 women in 12 hours, boy.
My mind ain't good, dog. I thought it
Yeah,
was about like
I'll forget nothing like that, boy. 17.
I'm not like, I'm not like a moralist or anything like that. But I don't know. I'm just a different guy. I'm just not, an orgy wouldn't just be the highlight of my life. It just wouldn't be. In fact, no, I'm not doing that shit. So they're slanging through 17 women. Who knows what those women may or may not have. Okay. And it sounds like they weren't very picky either. Slanging. Role models slanging it. Role models of the black male population slanging it. Today I had a guy in the chat and he was like, he was like heated, or at least it seemed like he was heated. I'm not going to say who he was or anything like that. But basically he was heated because he was saying, Jeezy doesn't represent me. I bet if I interviewed that man, he'd turn out being a Jeezy, because he's either a Jeezy, he's either a Ocho Cinco, or a Terrell Owens, or a Kevin Samuels. Something that needs to be fixed, that cannot be fixed.
man, 17?
17, bro.
Oh,
17.
man, I thought it was about 12.
Nah,
But shit, 12, 17, that's a
nah, it wasn't 12. You can't
Remember now, he's got a fiance, but he's slinging his thing everywhere. He's slanging it everywhere. Or Kirk Franklin. So, I mean, the degeneracy never stops here. The degeneracy never stops on YouTube. The Degenerate Station.
You can't end sex on even numbers. That's how I know it was.
That's KDGN, as in K Degenerate Radio.
It was an odd number.
Welcome.
That's how I know it was an odd number. It was 17.
Welcome.
Oh, okay. Okay. You might have been right. You might be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, I was
Radio.
done after about 2 or 3 though. I had to recoup.
See, they're not bragging about, and I'm not saying they should brag about it, but bringing up the community, they're not bragging about that. Nope. They're not bragging about that. They're not bragging about, bringing up their families or helping their families live an easier life or helping the needy. They're not bragging about any of that. What they're bragging about is slanging it. They're talking about slanging it in the DR. 17 women in 12 hours. Slanging it. In the DR, slanging it. Boom. In the D. They're bragging about it. That's our role models. That's what they have to offer our men is stories about slinging it. In the DR, slinging it. In the R.
Oh man, I had to recover, dog. I had to recover.
Hey,
Bro, you ain't even found me one yet.
I know. Wait, I found you, Katrina. What happened?
These are not like young guys just trying to, sow their oats. These are literally, dusties. Well, they are now. I mean, you can call them, I guess, high value dusties, but wait, no, technically not. I believe both of them complained about being broke at one time. So I don't see why that has changed.
I ain't talked to Katrina, man. She must be, her roster must be deep, dog, because I ain't talked to her since Cincinnati. I ain't texted her. I tried, we tried to call.
They give themselves away. They want to play the moral high ground and say, remember now, old Terrell was complaining about how, black girls, because he was talking about junior high school and high school, didn't dig him that much. New Diamond breaks it down like this. Wait, Guido breaks it down like this. And I bet these niggas ain't brought no damn 17. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I bet they went raw dog into the unknown. Into the unknown. And he's bringing that, and Chad's gonna bring that, whatever that is, back to his fiance. When black men approach me, it's only about sex. Yeah. Damn, you're fine. Yep. Where you live? Ain't no nigga lock that shit down. No. Now he's broken while flirting with this mess. Get the fuck out of my blank. Yep. If you want to be respected, gentlemen, you have to be respectable. This is the weird thing about the, I'm sorry to mention the manosphere again, but we have to because, they're a big influence on the community now. And the problem is that the manosphere preaches giving men respectability that are not anywhere being respectable themselves. I saw this person, and I posted it on the community page. This person, she said that men are leaders by default, which is a bunch of crap. Technically, that would be great if it worked out that way. But if men were leaders by the default, like really leaders by default, they would lead by default. And if we did have leaders, well, they just led the black community into a cesspool. Let's just face it. They even complain. The people who messed up the community say the community is messed up. Rena West in the house. Yeah. The very men who messed up the community, they say the community is messed up. So let's watch these distinguished gentlemen explain their exploits to us.
Or whatever. She wasn't even available. Man, I ain't talked to Katrina since Cincinnati, since your induction, man.
Damn, man. Okay, I'm gonna find somebody else for you. I'm gonna find somebody else.
Yeah, Katrina tripping, man. She tripping.
Damn. See, sometimes that's women. Sometimes.
Do you notice how he said Katrina was tripping? Did he ever consider that maybe if you're slinging D around the town and other people, that maybe, just maybe, that's not that attractive to everyone, to every woman. No, you didn't. And this is the ignorance that a lot of men have. Even if a woman is not committed to a man, everyone has a right to feel a certain way. If you want to be a man who, like, instead of spending his time building himself, which, let me tell you, it's an everyday work job for both of these men, by the way. But for T.O., you saw the T.O. tape, right? You would think he'd be focused on working on himself. No, he's focused on slanging it. So he's literally blaming a woman for having morals. Listen.
See, sometimes that's women. Sometimes they be doing too much.
Man, she tripping.
Damn, I'm gonna find somebody else for you. I'm gonna find somebody else.
Yeah, Katrina tripping, man. She tripping.
Katrina is tripping, right? But this guy's on here bragging about slinging it in 17 women. Do you see the disconnect? I mean, yeah, you can do what you want. But why are you going to say somebody's tripping, right? When you're slanging. She's supposed to, like, oh, yeah, oh, good. Am I next? Is she supposed to do shit like that? No, she said, oh, no, this guy's a hoe. I'm moving on. T.O.'s a hoe. You know he's a hoe. He got hit 17 304s. He's a hoe. You know he's a hoe. It costs 15 cents for the dollar show.
Damn. See, sometimes that's women. Sometimes they be doing too much. They be doing too much, and that's the problem.
Ocho Cinco just said they be doing too much about black women, right? Or whoever, because these guys don't really just, they date other women, right? Doing too much. They just went through 17 women in 12 hours. Not even 24, it's 12 hours. They're doing too much. Here we go.
Hey, see why I said I need a matchmaker service. Man, those matchmaker services, they think they know what they think they know what you need,
right?
Or they matching you with the person that's for you.
I know.
Nobody forced. There's really, quite honestly, for a relationship, and this is not sinking into these guys either. For a relationship, there's no woman who's cool with you going on orgies. Whether they're traditional or modern, there's nobody's going to be cool with that. So they first got on here. Okay, I'm going to give you the notice of events. They first got on here and started bragging about sleeping with 17 women in 12 hours. Then they're now complaining about other women because it sounds like to me the women are not feeling them. Okay? At least, remember now, Ocho's got a girl. I guess she must, I'm not going to assume what she is, whether she's a mammy or not. But if he recently slept with 10, 15, 17 women, right? I don't know too many women that are cool with that. Traditional or modern. But that's what he did. And now they're complaining about women because the women are not on their schedule. And their schedule is about, they's a hoe. You know they's a hoe. They went through 17 women in a 12-hour show. They's a hoe. You know they's a hoe. They cost 15 cents at a dollar show. That's enough of that. Let me keep going. This is weird here. See, the problem that a lot of us black men have is our problem with controlling our urges, our temper. We have no emotional control. Let me bring it on.
Predator cop responds to burglary, right? Well, he decides to assault, according to the conviction, a woman. Put up the picture, full mass. Well, that cop is now facing the music. Howard Portis. Officer Howard Portis is now an ex-Atlanta Police Department officer, has been found guilty of sexual assault. According to the indictment and conviction, he assaulted a woman who had called 911 because somebody broke into her property, all right? This is a dangerous situation. You need help. This happened March in 2021. The Fulton County DA's office, led by Fonnie Willis, the same prosecutor prosecuting Donald Trump, announced the guilty verdict Wednesday against the former officer. He was convicted on 1 count of aggravated sodomy and 1 count of violation of oath. According to state records, the officer was still allowed to resign by the Atlanta Police Department while under investigation. The officer also now has a second indictment in state court. Why? Over a, quote, pattern of deactivating his body camera before making sexual advances.
No impulse control whatsoever. New Diamond, you nailed it. Damn, they are proving Priscilla right every day. Every day. And proving Cynthia G right every day. Every day. Every day. He's on the job. He's on the job. Brina, thanks for letting me know. I will definitely dig that up. We'll save that for later. Mr. Let Himself Go. On the job.
Let me give you background to the incident. The release said that Officer Portis responded to the 911 call from a woman on Glen Street, March 25th, 2021. The Atlanta Police Department officer arrived at the scene, and once inside of her home, he decided to deactivate, turn off his body camera, and then physically forced her to perform sexual acts on him. The release stated a second officer was dispatched to the scene. And when that officer arrived, the victim, quote, remained silent about the assault due to her heightened fear and distrust of law enforcement. I need you to understand
that. I wonder if that's the protection that Chantel Simone was talking about.
in the scenario that he presented here. This evil deed was done knowing that the victim would not be aware of who would be on her side or not. So you have a second officer responding. Why would she believe that they are not involved in a conspiracy?
Right.
You have a person who has just sexually violated you, who has a gun and a license to use it. And based on damn near every single Supreme Court ruling and the narrative primarily of conservatives, all he has to do is say, oh my goodness, I thought she was the person who broke into her own home.
Right.
He kills her and he gets to go home because he has, a subjective protection. The DA's office said, after the second officer left, Portis offered her $250. Okay. Quote, she fled to her pastor's residence down the street. And once she got there, frantically knocked on the door in tears,
Man.
showing clear signs of distress, including heaving and vomiting. It's made her sick to her stomach. Before disclosing to him that she had been violated, the pastor helped arrange an ambulance to the hospital where she stayed overnight. The records also show his law enforcement certification is currently.
So, Chantel, is that the protection that you're thinking that black men are going to offer black women? I mean, anybody who's on that protection boat, you can feel free to debate. Feel free to leave something in the comment section about how great we are protecting our women. Actually, we're awful at it. The stats say that. Black women are the most assaulted in the United States. If we were so good at protecting them, where, you know, that's a good reason for a black woman to date a certain black man, then why are the stats so piss poor? You know, it's not like black women are assaulting each other. No. Guess who they're being assaulted by? The very men who are trying to monetize protection. Yep. Call that. That's like that's criminal. And just so we get a let's let you know, my pal Chantel break it down.
Hear me out. I have a very controversial thought, and a lot of people gonna come for me, call me and pick me, like, okay, whatever.
No,
if more women,
I'm gonna call you a lot worse than a pick me. You're literally condoning violence while saying you're not condoning violence. You're condoning violence. And I'm gonna let you prove it to everybody. Here we go. In my opinion, because, you know, allegedly we have to say all those fancy words.
were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
What?
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
Get your food! If you say one more.
So basically, this is the deal. Shanti is literally explaining to, unfortunately, some of the most violent men in the United States that she feels if a woman gets out of pocket, which is a very wide interpretation, okay, that a brick to the face is justified. Out of pocket could be, I don't know, saying no, standing up for your rights. Out of pocket to these type of men, right, that are messed up in the head, that you are allowing, that you are justifying their actions, sociopaths and whatnot, men with restraining orders and whatnot. As long as they interpret it that the woman's being out of pocket, you said it's okay for a brick. Now do you see how stupid you sound? Shanti? No, I'm not going to let you live that down. Forget that. No. This is disgusting. This is utterly disgusting. Let me play some more.
One thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my God, I said one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out.
Chantel, she supports men like Jeremy. See, he's putting a brick on that woman's face for just wanting her food right.
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket.
Yep.
We are going
Yep.
to begin this evening with a vicious attack that again raises questions about the criminal justice system.
If more women were to be introduced to a brick to the face whenever they act out of pocket, less women will act out of pocket. But because we know that we are covered by this societal norm that men shouldn't hit women, we feel as though we can provoke men. We can talk any kind of way. We can throw things at men. Look at Brittany Renner the other day, y'all.
Let's ignore Brittany Renner. Look what this man is doing to this woman in this photo. Let's keep it going, guys. Here we go.
Continue to shed light on the issue of domestic violence. It is Awareness Month, and it impacts all communities. However, studies show Black women are impacted at a higher rate than any other race or ethnicity. The Institute of Women's Policy Research shows some 31% of all women will experience domestic violence. For Black women, that statistic is more than 40%. One Knoxville woman shares her story of survival with 10 News reporter Jacinta Render. Jacinta?
John, unfortunately, each year in the United States, 10 million people are estimated to experience domestic violence. I talked with one survivor who shared her story, hoping to inspire others to get out just like she did.
You know, I'm here today to say I survived it.
Over 10 years ago, Tiffany got out of what she says was an abusive marriage.
I experienced domestic violence, the mental and the physical abuse.
The mother of 3 kids says the relationship did not start out that way.
He spoiled me, he romanced me, he took care of me.
The marriage took a turn for the worse during a hard time in her life.
I can say right after my mother passed in 2006, everything started going left. He started changing. At that time, we was probably in a marriage for 5 or 6 years.
Tiffany is not alone. 4 in 10 Black women will experience some form of abuse. The Family Justice Center says they've seen the impacts locally.
We're definitely seeing a higher than representative percentage of the victims who come here for services are part of the Black community.
There are several factors that contribute. Research shows Black women are less likely to turn in an abusive partner to law enforcement. Tiffany says after being married for 8 years, enough was enough. With help from the Family Justice Center, she is now a survivor.
Justice Center really helped me a whole lot, but I can say I'm stronger than I was before.
Tiffany hopes her story can inspire all women who are dealing with domestic violence to get help.
Young girls, older, whatever the case may be, you're not by yourself.
You broke it down perfectly, Phoenix Soul, because she lost her protection. Then he showed his true face. Exactly. Her mother passed. Her mother was her protection. And the monster came out.
While domestic violence disproportionately affects Black women, advocates say it can happen to anyone. John?
Jacinta Render with that story. Thank you, Jacinta.
All right. Let's keep this. Well, it's not all right, really, but let's keep it going.
You want to support Roller Mark Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roller Martin Unfiltered. By going to rollermartinunfiltered.com, you can make this possible.
All right.
This
Roland Fells, you know who it is. You know who it is. Roland.
It's about being able to connect with your family and friends on social media. But as we've learned,
Let me go forward.
Saif, who has completely left social media, folks, pull it up, please. She left because, again, this is so crazy.
This is very important right here because this is what's going down. Let me go hit that right there. Get some more volume here. Here we go.
Attacking Grace because of her character on a Netflix show. Y'all, it's fictitious. It's fictitious. Joining me now to talk about this is Jennifer Farmer. She's a communication strategist and founder of Spotlight PR. And so, in what other ways are Black women being attacked? And is it, obviously she's an actress who's responding to a show, but in what other ways are we seeing?
So what we're seeing is pervasive attack. If you're a Black woman and
You know what I learned? You know what I learned is that the manosphere and other internet creeps, when they tell you, oh, you know, you did me wrong or something like that, that's just a mere excuse that they're using to do something that they have done for years. They're just giving themselves an excuse and a green light to be the same black man. They're giving themselves the excuse and the reason to be toxic. That is what they are doing. 99% of the times, nobody did anything wrong. But no, they're making up excuses to be who they really are, which are monsters. That's what's going down. And it's spread all over social media.
Have a social media account. If you're on Twitter, chances are you've already experienced abuse. 84% of the tweets that go to Black women contain some type of abusive or harassing message. So by
Wait a minute. Let's go over that one more time.
Percent of the tweets. So what we're seeing is pervasive attack. If you're a Black woman and you have a social media account, if you're on Twitter, chances are you've already experienced abuse. 84% of the tweets that go to Black women contain some type of abusive or harassing message. So
wow, that's crazy. 84% of the messages that go to Black women are abusive. But it's coming from the same people who want to be respected in their community. I guarantee you. But they turn out to be creeps. They turn out to be bandits. They turn out to be grangers. They turn out to be toxics. Lowlifes. That's what they are. They don't have to be, but that's just who they are. That's why they can't stop. That's why they can't stop, because that's who they are, who we thought they were.
By merely existing, the chances of you being attacked have increased. The other thing that we're finding is that if you have the courage to state your opinion, you're also going to be attacked.
Oh, I know that. I know that well.
Oh yeah,
Avis knows that well.
Right, right. And the attacks are vicious. So when I
they sure are.
wrote the article for The Root, I was looking at comments sent to Senator Nina Turner, who's a 2020 co-chair for Bernie Sanders. Yeah. And I mean, some of the comments to her were things that she was a fucking idiot, that she was paying Senator Sanders was paying her to have sex with him. I mean, just brutal. Nothing about
that is
policy, but the lower they can get, that's what's happening.
Right. And it's also, when we talk about those level of attacks, crude, sexist in many ways, and it is hard for some people to deal with this on every day. I mean, I know a number of people who just simply say, you know what, I'm done. I got to just completely log off, or like Grace did, delete the account.
Right. I mean, people tend to think that because of social media that there is a barrier, but all of us are human. And when you receive the level of attacks that we're seeing on social media, again, this is pervasive. It is hard not to let that impact your psyche. And so people from all walks of life are being impacted. And I think that Twitter has a responsibility to do more. And in their doing more, they can't go behind closed doors, create a solution, and then come back and say, here's what we've decided to do for you. Black women have to be a part of the solution to make Twitter and other platforms a place where they can feel comfortable expressing their opinions.
Right.
Question.
Oh my goodness. So what would you like to see Twitter do? I hear you saying bring Black women in as part of the solution so there can be dialogue and strategy, but do you have any sort of top of mind suggestions that you think could be some easy fixes, that maybe not complete fixes, but some quick things that the organization could do even before then to start to mitigate some of these damaging
Well,
effects?
I'd like us to take a look at the algorithms that they're using to even flag the abuse, because I've heard many people say, look, we've reported it. They've said that it has not violated our policy. So what algorithms
That sounds familiar.
are they using? They also need to be more forthright with their data. The report that came out by Amnesty International said that they have been trying to get accurate information on the scope of the abuse. Even though we know it's a lot, we don't know how much, but we know that
It's real bad out there. I will tell you this. There are people getting, deletion threats. There are people getting, sexual beyond sexual innuendos. I mean, they're able to say vulgar shit on here. They're able to say disgusting stuff. And it's funny because these degenerates, they won't say that to other races of women. They will only say it to Black women. That's the funny thing. That's how low character, and that's being nice, I can say. Very low character. Very low character. But they want to be respected. That's the weird thing. They know they either know or must have an idea they're being disgusting, but then they want to be respected by people. It's like the only place that they can get that kind of respect is probably in a prison cell. So maybe that's where they should go.
it's a lot. And so I think they need to be more forthright with that data.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I was looking at actually, like the article and the report, and it was showing that Black women are more likely to be abused on Twitter and social media platforms. And Black men was maybe, it's still higher. It was like maybe twice as much. Mm-hmm. But how do you address, again, those racial disparities? I mean, like without violating any type of First Amendment, issues.
So
you want to hear something sad? Black women are more apt to get abused by Black men online than any other race. And what's sad about that is that, I mean, at least in the community, the excuse for, Black women and black men abusing Black women is proximity. But when you're on the internet, you can be anywhere. You don't have to go to a woman's group or to a woman's page and insult them or say disgusting stuff, but you went out of your way to do that. That's how low individual you can be. If there's high value men, there are extremely low value men out there. That's just crazy to me. I mean, don't you know that you're being a piece of crap? Don't you want to be a better person? You'd be amazed of the replies. It probably would be even more vile, making up more excuses for being disgusting. Like, let me get some shout outs out of the way. Quita Wars in the house. New Diamonds in the house. Cyber Dreams is in the house. Indiana Mom is in the house. We got everybody up in here. Phoenix Soul, Legs for Life, the LW Hub, Madison Goldman, Kevin's in here, Fiona's in here, Act Natural Under Pressure is in here. If I missed you, Legs for Life is here too. Okay, I can't scroll up too more. Okay, there we go. Yeah. It's crazy up in here. Cyber Dreams breaks it down like this. They want Black women under them. Yes. If I could, they would change laws that would allow it. Yep. Exactly that.
What's happening on Twitter reflects what we're seeing happening in the workplace, what we're seeing happen in the rest of society. This is not a coincidence. I think that Black women struggle in many respects to be given our due, to be paid what we're worth. The maternal health challenges, are they're staggering. And so I think what we're seeing on Twitter is a manifestation of how Black women are faring and how we are perceived in other parts of our life.
Exactly.
I worry about online violence becoming live violence,
right?
Against
And real life
folks.
violence.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So I'm wondering if there are policies that folks on Capitol Hill should be moving forward on to better protect people. So I'm wondering if that's a part of the plan.
I think that is one of the solutions that Amnesty International lifted up. But I think part of my concern is this registering as the major issue that it is? Are we hearing people talking about it and pushing forth policies? And my fear is that because Black women and Latinx women, but Black women to a greater degree, we are not receiving the protection that we should. I don't know how high it's rising for some elected officials.
All right. Well, Jennifer Palmer, we surely appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, folks, back to our Road Mark Unfiltered.
Let me pause that. Woo, that was a good one. So yeah, it shows you that really, quite honestly, it basically just shows you the temperature out in the community. Because if you were to take the disgusting behavior online, you would see it play out in the community as the brick theory explains. Hazel, welcome. It's good seeing you, Hazel. Indiana mom is up in here. She breaks it down like this. We just had dinners with my in-law. I made it big. She's about to make me hungry. Indiana mom, look out. Fresh apple pie. That's my favorite. Damn, that tastes good. I know that tastes good. Cyber Dreams breaks it down like this. Black women need to lay their pride aside and come together to address what's happening on the internet. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Well, Roland actually did that was a pretty good show. Now, let's get another argument in here. Here we go. I'm gonna fast forward. This is from Lady Bull. Oh, Belay. Okay.
Thank you for all you do to support the channel. The picture on the screen showed up on my Twitter page a few days ago. It is a picture of the late Kevin Samuels apparently going up the stairway to heaven toward the pearly gates, but he stops and looks back to say, "And y'all still fat and average." I think the rapper T.I. posted this on
Yeah, and that just tells me everything I need to know about T.I. He's another bandit. Just another bandit. Nobody else. Great music. He made some good music, I guess. I wouldn't say great or good because I'm just not into that kind of. He was in that early 2000s kind of mix, and it was cool. I had to spin it. He had beats that had to be spent, but he's just another bandit. It's just another community guy.
Twitter. And I really, it really causes you to think how long and how far this is going to go. So at this point, people are just trying to get attention or just trying to do something to provoke other people because
instead, T.I. he sees himself as a community guy, which is interesting, but it's very interesting that he sees himself as a community guy. But look at what he wants the community to see. If that ain't, that's a community leader for you, right? And women are supposed to be good with that. Way to go, T.I. Shout out to Phoenix Soul. Thank you for the $1.99 super sticker. Phoenix Soul, thank you. Thank you. By the way, Fiona brings up great video on Jeezy interview LW Academy. You got to rush over there. She breaks down Jeezy into pieces. Breaks down Jeezy into pieces. Excellent work. Excellent work.
Really no need for this. And it's time for this to stop. The man is dead. And whatever his message was his message. So there's no point in somebody else trying to co-opt it or advance it or improve upon it. What I'm finding curious is that these Black men in the manosphere, so-called, and the manosphere, the best I can figure, these are Black men who are angry. They're angry at society, and they're especially angry at Black women. But
I call it sore loser syndrome. Sore loser syndrome.
I keep hearing them say is that Kevin Samuels gave them a voice, gave Black men a voice. Black men didn't have a voice, but now they have a voice. I've been listening to several of them that are in the so-called manosphere, and all they talk about is women, Black women, and the men that Black women are with, whether they're white or Black. That's all they talk about. I don't ever hear anybody talking about the economy. I don't hear anybody talking about the politics of this country. I don't hear anybody talking about education. I don't hear anybody talking about history. All they're talking about is women. So what I'm being led to believe is that Kevin Samuels gave them a voice to talk about women.
I think they're really not even talking about women. I think they're talking more about getting sex from women, getting control, getting submission from women. They're not really talking about women as far as interacting with women in a more positive way. They're looking for control. So they're really looking for supply. They're looking for victims. They're looking for toys. That's what they're looking for. And if they wanted it to look different, it would have looked different. That's how I see it. In the house, kittens in caskets. Indiana Mom, Fiona, Quita Ward, Phoenix Soul, Strawberry Dreams, LW. We're going to keep it going.
Black women. I find it curious that these manosphere men are saying that they didn't have.
Look at all these men. These are manosphere men, right? If you want a depiction of average at best, you're seeing it right now. Look at them. Nobody's going, they want to play the numbers game, we can play the numbers game too. They want to play that little funky 1 to 10 and you can't choose 7. None of these guys can smell 5. None of them. And their personality is worse. That's what's bad. Average at, how about worst at best? Let's get away from average at best. Let's go with worst at best.
Have a voice before Kevin Samuels came along. In our churches, in our Black churches, overwhelmingly our preachers are Black men. The deacons are men. The trustees are men. The stewards are men. Anybody handling money or making decisions is a man. These men have a voice. Our state representatives are overwhelmingly Black men. Our national representatives, Black men. We've had a...
Let me pause that. Perfect. Indiana Mom breaks it down like this. They know that as men, they're at the bottom. Bars. The only people they can possibly control are women. Bars. Black women get all their hate because other women are protected by their men. Bars. Bars. A Black woman is more likely to get protection from another race than her own race of men. Isn't that interesting? Doesn't that, you would think that would, hey, that's sad, but it's true.
a Black male president. The 3 senators in the United States Congress.
Exactly. Phoenix, you nailed it. Punching down.
Are Black men. The most famous and high-profile athletes in the United States are Black men. Some of the most famous high-profile entertainers in the United States are Black men. These men have a voice. And one thing we can say, that every time these men do something who do have a voice, they're the main ones criticizing them and trying to drag them down. I think we can say that for certain. So they say now that they have a voice, and they're speaking very loudly in that voice. But what are they talking about? Their ongoing narrative.
Let me check this out. This guy right here in the middle bragged about having a 1099 rotation of 304s. This right here, he went to Uganda for a blue-dressed 304 and was even in his own space was known as being a trafficker. At least they allegedly called him one. Who knows if he won? Right here, this guy right here, Section 8 is my nickname for him, because not only did he freeload off a woman, but he freeloaded off a woman, made her pregnant 3 times, lived with her in her Section 8 housing, okay? He was so poor, he had to live with her in her Section 8 housing, this man right here, okay, from allegedly, okay, and has the nerve to want to diss women now after he had freeloaded. He freeloaded too. This man right here, let me get this off the screen for one second. This man right here, he freeloaded too. He made $900 a month, allegedly, while his woman made $24.40 a month. That's literally almost 3 times as much as he did. High value man. Yeah, that sounds really high value to me. Okay? Well, this guy right here at the bottom left, messy as can be. Messy as can be right here. Messy right here. Okay? Divorce, talk smack about women being, over 30 and stuff, but gets together with a woman who's like in her 40s. Wait, sorry, she was Caucasian. That's different. She gets a pass. She gets a pass. Oh, and this guy right here. Oh, shit. Mr. Pot-bellied Limp-along. What? I think he said something about butt up in the air, face down in a puddle of blood or something. I believe allegedly he said that. Look at him. Average? No. Degenerate at best. Degenerate at best.
That Black women need to be held accountable.
Wait, now, pop it back. So we're in reference here.
And trying to drag them down. I think we can say that for certain. Yes. So they say now that they have a voice, and they're speaking very loudly in that voice. But what are they talking about? Their ongoing narrative is that Black women need to be held accountable. Now, I don't think it's clear what it is they think Black women need to be held accountable for, but what somebody has failed to inform them of is that they don't have the power to hold Black women accountable for anything. So lacking the power to hold Black women accountable for whatever it is they think Black women should be held accountable for, their backup plan seems to be to spend 24/7 on social media berating and humiliating Black women. Now, what I find kind of interesting about that is that when I came to YouTube in 2017, they were all talking about the options that they had. And they were all...
If you have options, right, then why don't you just exercise those options and not the options that you fly away and pay, not those.
I get them some white women. And I'm wondering, what happened to that? What happened to that? Because it seems like they've circled back on Black women. What they discovered was that what they can get in a white woman is worse than what they had in a Black woman. That's what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. But the thing about it is that they don't have the ability to hold either white or Black women accountable for anything. Accountability has to be a part of a cooperative relationship between a man and a woman. In the country that we live in, where there are all kinds of laws and regulations to protect people, you don't get to just force somebody into accountability or submission. What binds a couple together is commitment. Commitment.
Okay, let me pause right there. That's one thing that is so funny to me. Black men, you know that when you say you're not going to do this and you're not going to do that and you're not going to protect and you're not going to love on a woman, you're not going to want to get committed, you say you don't want to get married to Black women. So basically the thing is, you're basically pricing yourself down in the market. You're giving women in general, not just Black women, no reason to be around you, because you're building a reputation of alacrity. You're building a reputation of weakness. Other men will do it. Other men will do it. So if you're not going to do it, then you're just making it harder on yourself. And this includes this. You're probably making it harder on yourself even with other cultures of women, because they hear a lot of women. Don't get it wrong. I mean, the black manosphere, it's its own sphere, but people are watching it. And that information gets out. So when they see you berating your own women, they see a devaluation. They're not agreeing with you. I hate to break it to you. They're not agreeing with you being degenerate. They're looking at you and going, damn, Black women have it hard. That's what they're saying. They're not saying, ha, 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 Black women need to submit. They're not saying that shit. No, they're saying Black women have it hard. Damn, their men are trash. That's what they're thinking. And that's why, even though it's unfair for you to be discriminated against, you have to understand that you're building a reputation, okay, that is not positive and that other cultures pay attention to. And it's not sinking in with you. You don't understand that you are ruining your own reputation by constantly disrespecting your own women. That's why other cultures of men don't do that, because they want their reputation to be intact. You don't. You don't. So you wonder why maybe you didn't get that job, or maybe wonder why while Becky didn't give you the chance she wanted, because she saw how you treat your own women. They see how you treat, and if they can find some other excuse for not having you come through the door, they will. Didn't know? That's kind of like, that's how it is. So the best thing you can do is, if you really want to get that job, or if you want to get Becky, you might want to curtail your anger. You might want to get help, really. The best thing to do is to get a therapist. But if you're not going to do that, you might at least want to chill out. Now, they'll find out later that you're still the same Black man, but at least you might be able to keep a job longer. Let's put it that way. Let me keep it going.
To their relationship, to their vows, to their God, to their family, and their community. It's their commitment that makes a relationship work. And this negative energy that they're sending out, all of this negative language doesn't lead anywhere good. It usually comes back on you in a negative way. So I would just be careful about some of this stuff these men are saying, because the man that shot up the subway in New York had some of this.
Remember him? Shot up the subway. Loved him some Kevin Samuels. I think the manosphere, in my opinion, in the most part, from the experience I've had and seen, most of the men in it are nut jobs. They are nut jobs.
Manosphere literature in his possession. So when the next crime bill comes down, and it's going to be another crime bill, and that bill is going to be more comprehensive, it's going to be broader, and it's going to include everybody, white folks, Asians, black folk, Hispanics, men, women, and they're going to include police reports and all of this stalking and all of this hate speech.
Yep, stalking, hate speech. Yep. Sooner or later. And the funny thing is that these funny things about these guys on the internet and these guys, they don't understand that there's a statute of limitation. So you might do some dirt now, and you're on the hook for that shit for 3 to 7 years. As long as that person can prove it, you're on the freaking hook. 3 to 7 years, depending on what state you're in and what you did. All they have to do is prove it, and it's easy to prove it on the internet. It's easy peasy. So you know what I see happening? All those angry black men, all of a sudden, they're going to be getting knocks on their doors. What? And then saying, well, I was unjustly, arrested. So what if I told some woman, blah, 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 and that I was going to blah, blah, blah her. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to be here like, told you, bro. I'm not going to be at no kind of country, city walk for them or anything. It's like, dude, you got what you paid for. You got what you paid for. Now let's take a dip into another manosphere guy, because he turned out to be one. Break it down like this.
A lot of women, especially black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. In our society right now, black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men.
Okay,
right?
So black women are making a lot more money. Okay, let's listen again.
For the most part than black men, right? There are a lot of black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men. Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right?
Right. Okay. So black women are making more money for the most part than black men. Okay. So we got that down. So if that's the case, right? What's the problem? If black women are making more money than most black men, right? From Tyler Perry's point of view, whether it is right or wrong, we won't even go into it. We'll just take him on his word, right? Then what's the problem? What is the problem? The problem is that black men are not making as much as black women, according to Tyler Perry. And if that's the case, who needs to step up? What, you want black women to make less? You want them to, instead of going in for work for 8 hours, go in for 4 hours? See, this is the funny part. I love this. After the fact, after the hype is gone, conversations. Because then, you can pick up on things that were missed. And one of the things that were missed was this. Black men in the manosphere were championing Tyler Perry for saying this. But what I've been argued many times on this channel is that they'll say that, oh no, black men make more than black women, black men make more than black women. If that's the case, then if black men make more than black women, I got a checkmate here. That's what I'm getting to. If black men, according to the manosphere, makes more money than black women, then why do black women have to settle? Gotcha. Got you real good. Got you real good. So do you want to believe me or do you want to believe Tyler? Fellas, I don't care. Take your pick. It's checkmate either way. I got you either way.
You ready?
Yep.
And for the rest of my life, I don't want to be with anyone but you. What are you doing?
Until death do you part.
I do. Well, maybe I wouldn't have to worry about other guys looking at you if you didn't dress like a whore.
I just don't know what I would do if you were with anyone but me.
Where you been? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Do you hear me? Look, I didn't want to do that. You just don't listen. Who's that?
Hey, you sure you're okay? I'm fine.
Who's gonna take you in but me? You will never see your son again. How about next time? I make sure you never leave the house again. Guess it's my lucky damn day. Look what I found under the bathroom sink.
Johnny, wait, just no, hold on.
YWCA hotline. How can I help you?
Every day, 24,000 women are abused by someone they love. Just one phone call can help put a stop to it.
On April 2nd, it was reported that a Florida man murdered his wife of 10 years and their 10-year-old daughter. Why? Because the woman, Larice Harris, asked for a divorce. Intimate partner violence is not.
Lot of love in the house. T in the house. Phoenix in the house. New Diamond in the house. Millie Pop in the house. Let's keep it going.
Limited to any race, country, gender, or sexual orientation. But in America, approximately 3 women are killed by a spouse, lover, or partner every day. In recent years, 53% of these women have been Black. In fact, Black women are 4 times more likely than their white peers to be murdered by a lover and 7 times more likely to be killed when pregnant than white women.
Congratulations, men. That's something to be proud of, unfortunately, right? For you guys. You creepy dudes out there. That's terrible. We need to work on that. We need to get the numbers down, not up. You know what's funny? I never heard Kevin Samuels talk about those stats. He was a big stats guy, right? He didn't talk about those stats, did he? I saw him berate women that had been abused. I've seen him do that. But he never talked about those stats, and you got to wonder why, don't you?
To make matters worse, 9 out of 10 murdered Black women were killed by a man they knew. When we broaden the scope of domestic violence to include reported rapes and physical abuse by a woman's partner, the numbers are even more staggering. He hit me and it felt like a kiss exemplifies the long-reaching pervasiveness of domestic violence in Black culture. The song was written by Carole King and her husband after finding out their babysitter was routinely beaten by her boyfriend and that the woman, singer Little Eva, justified the violence as his love for her. Little Eva sang this song you've probably heard of, Locomotion.
Come on, baby, do the locomotion. I know you get to like it if you give it a chance now.
But back to the present. Black women are the most
That's
likely.
the funny thing is that Black men weren't even practicing protection even back then. We weren't. We just weren't. There were more marriages because women couldn't get out of them. That's what happened.
Female group in America to experience intimate partner violence. Roughly 40% of them experience physical violence by a partner in their lifetime. These stats aren't saying that Black men are more violent than white ones, but instead speak to the unique race, class, and gender-based disadvantages that Black women face, especially their lack of economic resources. Don't believe me? Consider the following. From a historical perspective, most Black women have been reluctant to call the police on abusers, as police are corrupt, violent, and often ineffective in deterring domestic violence, with many being abusers in their own families as well. Not to mention, Black women are stereotyped.
I mean, there is a point there. I mean, police officers, at least allegedly, from what I saw last time, were the number one job that it was the number one job of DV. Let's just put it like the employees of DV.
Angry and or lascivious, making them less credible victims in the eyes of law enforcement and sometimes even in the Black community. The late 19th century is lightly peppered with court cases or instances of rape or attempted rape of Black women by Black men, usually dismissed or with no resulting punishment for the accused. These officiated experiences were the exceptions, not the rule. Historically, Black women were expected to be strong and resilient in their communities, to put race first and to protect Black men, as they were already stereotyped to be violent. Instead of getting police involved or running away with money they didn't have, Black women often faced abusers themselves. Explain.
Yes, very much. By the way, this is intellectual media. You got to check her out. She's good.
Why Black women murdered male partners in the first half of the century in comparable rates to Black men murdering their partners. Think of all those hot grits and middle of the night knife at the throat stories about battered women who finally had enough. In 1980, 13% of Black male murder victims were killed by a partner, and that percentage has since dropped to 5%. While today's Black women are significantly less likely to kill a partner, they still often don't trust the police. This complicates things because not trusting the justice system means women are less likely to disclose patterns of abuse and receive outside help from channels that aren't close friends and family or faith leaders. Speaking of faith, Black women are the most religious group in the country, and years of internalized sermons and advice that a good woman uplifts her man, the man bestowed upon her by God, and sticks by him is all too common. When you add in economic disadvantages like the overall white-Black wealth gap, the fact that Black women are 2 times more likely to be poor than white females, and severe lack of community resources in the impoverished areas so frequently inhabited by Black women, these factors lead to a lack of income that makes it harder for Black women to escape abusive situations, especially when they have kids. And speaking of kids, reproductive coercion is a major concern for abused women of all races. This is when a partner manipulates the relationship by pressuring pregnancy or sabotaging birth control.
Uh-oh. Let me play that one more time. Here we go. Listen close.
Especially when they have kids. And speaking of kids, by Black women.
Wait, do we have financial abuse popping up again? Oh my God, financial abuse.
Factors lead to a lack of income that makes it harder for Black women to escape abusive situations, especially when they have kids. And speaking of kids, reproductive coercion is a major concern for abused women of all races. This is when a partner manipulates the relationship by pressuring pregnancy or sabotaging birth control. All of this leads to women being more dependent on fathers, even if they are abusive, and informal faith-based support. To round out all of these tragic components,
let me pause it right there, because this hits perfectly onto the piece de resistance of the nice in the house, Nurse Fancy. Nurse Fancy is in the house. I'm sorry to hear that happened. I call it being Kiki'd, because Kiki got the same treatment, unfortunately. Madison Goldman, Benji Masu is in the house. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. Here we go. Kiki's tea. Break it down for us.
Just a few days after welcoming their son, Kiki Palmer's baby daddy is getting exposed for being super toxic and messy. Yeah, I know that people have been side-eyeing him for a while, but things just got real because it looks like Kiki has been covering up some of her baby daddy's mess. And y'all are not going to believe the crazy things this man has said and done. Did he really cheat on his ex-girlfriend with Kiki? So it looks like Kiki Palmer's boyfriend is not exactly who Kiki wants us to see him as, because from the look of things, there might be something shady about him.
Welcome to the same black man.
Me wrong. I'm not saying that Kiki is deceiving us or lying to us or anything like that. I'm just letting y'all know that the streets are saying that there is something toxic about him. Weeks before Kiki announced her pregnancy, there were rumors that she was pregnant and was trying to hide it. Well, Kiki being Kiki was not bothered by the rumors, and she continued to keep it low key until she was ready to make the announcement. And as expected, that announcement was epic.
People have been in my comments saying Kiki's having a baby, Kiki's pregnant, and I want to set the record straight. I am.
Because she is just a wholesome celeb that everybody loves. There was an outpouring of love and support from everyone because everybody was just so happy for her. But that soon changed when people found out who her baby daddy is. People felt like Kiki was settling and that she could do better. So her baby daddy's name is Darius Jackson. Now when Kiki and
Oh, so Kiki settled just like the manosphere wants her to do. Kiki settled just like the manosphere wants you to do. You know, the bus driver thing. And I bet this hypocrite right here, Mr. Let Go, look at all them. Look at all those videos he made just on Kiki. Look at fucking freaking hypocrite. Look at this hypocrite. He'd be the first one to say Kiki should have been happy in a relationship, but when things go bad, he's the first one to go, oh, Kiki's pookie. See that? See that? Let me calm down. We might have to do he's got 4 videos. I might have to do a video special just on his crap. Excuse my language to everybody. This dude gets me heated. He is definitely, I don't know if there's something worse than a bandit, but he's probably that. Let me get back to our normally programmed station. Here we go.
Darius first started dating, they kept things low key. But as time went on, Kiki got tired of hiding her relationship because Darius truly made her happy.
I'm really one of those people that very much so keep it on the Beyonce tip of just like, keeping everything low key. I think the reality is just, it became—
Yeah, T, you're right. You know what's funny about the manosphere? They shame themselves. They are actually the pookies. They're actually the pookies when you think about it. MTR can't even count the amount of sexual partners he's had. It's been that many. Okay? Does that sound respectable or like a man who's trying to build himself? No. Kevin Samuels, what did he do? Rotation of 6 1099s, which is a fancy way of saying 304s. I can go on. So it's funny they're calling other men pookies when they fit the bill perfectly. Talk about calling the pot, calling the kettle black. Pookies calling pookies pookies. Let me say that one more time. Pookies calling pookies pookies.
More difficult to hide, that, we spend all this time together and he's really my closest friend. So it just becomes a thing where I'm not going to hide, something that makes me happy. So it is what it is.
And when I tell you guys that Kiki's fans were not impressed when they found out about him. So after Kiki made her announcement, people went digging for information about Darius. And it turns out that he is the brother of Serrano Jackson, who plays Alejandro on the TV series Insecure. Interestingly, Kiki and Darius met because of Serrano's, because they both attended a Memorial holiday party that was hosted by actress Issa Rae and Diddy. Issa and Serranos both were insecure. So Serranos got invited by Issa, and he took his brother Darius as a +1. Darius met Kiki at the party, they hit things off, and the rest is history. One of the first things that sent off red flags for people was the fact that we couldn't really put a finger on what it was exactly that Darius did for work. Because, well, there's just very little to be found about his employment history. It's not.
Uh-oh. Told you. Sharaya in the house, Phoenix in the house, T in the house, New Diamond in the house, Quita in the house, Act Natural Under Pressure in the house, T's in the house, and Nurse Fancy's in the house. Quita's in the house. This could be going.
Like he has a LinkedIn page or something we can look him up. The only thing we could find out about his work history is that Darius has been working in both fitness and entertainment for more than 6 years. He also runs a YouTube channel which has amassed 19,000 subscribers. The site claims he is also an instructor in Inspire Fitness. The workout guru is seemingly interested in expanding his career into the film industry. People immediately took this means that Darius doesn't exactly have a lot going on for him financially. And they immediately started accusing him of trying to leech off Kiki. Now, personally, I don't think that he is broke as people trying to make him out to be. I mean, sure, he's not as rich as Kiki is, but he probably has the same amount of money as, normal people. And while that is not a lot of money compared to Kiki's millionaire status, it doesn't make him broke like people were saying. In fact,
Spicy Black Tina got done with my seafood food boil. It was bomb AF. Damn, you see, we need to have, excuse me for going off subject for a second. We need to have a footy live stream. If you think that's a good idea, put a 1 in the chat. We might have to have a footy live stream, share some recipes and whatnot.
there were comments calling him out for being a hobosexual, which basically means that he's only dating Kiki so he can have a place to stay. Well, after Kiki ended up getting pregnant, people then started pointing out how weird it was that Darius didn't put a ring on it first before they had a baby. Kiki is very precious to the Black community, and they will look out for her at any opportunity they get. Some people believe that Darius got her pregnant so that he could tie her down with a baby. There were speculations that he didn't propose because while he wanted to tie her down and have access to her money, he did not want to be tied to her legally. So he decided to trap her with a baby.
That's what they will do. You got to understand that's what's going down. That's what's going down. That's what they're doing. Don't let it happen to you. It's a pandemic, a Pookie Fest. Oh, man. Let's keep it going. We're going to break it down right now. Chronicle Speaks, break it down. Here we go.
Now, I'm not one of the guys.
And fast forward. Chronicle Speaks. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Had to file a petition for a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend Darius, who is the father of her 8-month-old son Leotis. Now, her ex has been accused of being both physically and mentally abusive, and at this point, Kiki is in fear.
What did Tyler Perry say? Well, it's okay. It's okay if he can only pay the light bill. It's okay if he puts hands and feet on you. That's basically what he's saying. In my opinion. That's what it turns out to be. And he's good to you. What's the definition of good to you? What, for a moment? It's okay. This is what happens when a guy can only pay the light bill. I'm giving you here it is right here. It's okay. It's okay. Phoenix, Thank you so much. Phoenix Soul says this, was in a DV relationship 4 years, bounced once. I decided I was gonna unalive him without remorse. I knew I needed my freedom to raise my kids. I was already fighting him. Torch, thank you for this show. Phoenix, thank you for the support. Thank you for support. By the way, everyone, if you need any kind of support, just let us know. We have some resources for you. LW breaks it down like this. Exactly. That is exactly what he did. He trapped her with a baby. Classic toxic-ish SMH. Yep. Now she's stuck with him for the remainder of her life, really, when you think about it.
Of not only her life, but her son Leo's life as well. We are going to get into this story and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this story and so much more. Now let's get back into it. So the alarming news broke yesterday that Kiki Palmer filed a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend Darius Jackson, who she broke up with last month in October. Now, according to Kiki, Darius barged into her home, entering the bedroom, threatening her, physically attacking her, lunging for her neck, striking her, and throwing her over the couch right before taking her phone. Now, this incident happened this month on the 5th, and police were indeed called. And days later, Kiki filed the restraining order and filed to have temporary full custody of their son. And the judge
Restraining orders. So if somebody tells you they have a restraining order in their past, you should see that as a big ass, hot on fire red flag. Sharia breaks it down. I also had to leave a DV relationship with covert narcissist over 1 year ago. He future faked for so long, then he became violent. Ouch. I had to get a restraining order and get his ass. Yeah, it's all you. Restraining. That's what they're for. You got to get them locked up. There's nothing else you can do. You can't save them. All you can do is get yourself away from them. Well done. Feisty, my ex-husband threatened to hit me. I left that bandit with the quickness. Didn't want to wait around for the abuse. I don't play that. Smart. Good move. Everyone's making some good moves. Sometimes it takes a little longer than the next, but that's what you got to do. So let's take a look at him here. Here we go. This is the bandit's calling card right here. Many of them have them. This is what they have. The calling card.
Ended up granting everything. So let's get into these documents and find out not only what happened that day, but other days that Kiki is alleging she was abused by Darius Jackson. Kiki is requesting a domestic violence restraining order that includes custody orders because, again, they do have a son together. So she and the respondent, Darius Jackson, were previously in a dating relationship, which started in June of 2021 and finally ended for good in or around October of this year, 2023, primarily due to the physical and emotional abuse inflicted on Kiki by Darius throughout their relationship, which is detailed further herein and will be further testified to at the time of trial. They are the parents of an 8-month-old boy, Leotis and Drelton Jackson, born February 25th, 2023, also known as Leo. She said, "It is because of our son Leo that I was finally able to end my relationship with Darius once and for all and escape the abuse. Leo is the most important
thing." A superstar, Kiki Palmer. Who had the money to skedaddle or to do anything. She even had to go through this. That's how bad it is out there. Man. See, black men, that's on us because you know men like this. You should have been checking them a long time ago. Nobody else is going to do it. And if a woman was going to try to check them, you would say, "Well, why are you checking that dude?" You'd be complaining on some other channel, like some abusive lawyer channel or something like that. You know what I mean? Or some Section 8 channel, or some Kevin Samuels channel, instead of doing the right thing.
In the entire world to me. He needs and deserves to be safe and grow up in an environment free from violence. Now let's get into this most recent act of violence that happened this past Sunday on November 5th. She said, Darius trespassed into my home, physically attacked me, knocked me over my couch, and pinned me down and stole my phone after I threatened to call the police. This was all caught on home surveillance video. Unfortunately, ending my...
If you feel like you need to call the police, don't tell the perp you're going to call the police. Get safe, call the police.
Our relationship with Darius has not ended his abuse. If anything, he is even more unhinged, volatile, and dangerous to both me and our son. This past Sunday, November 5th, 2023, Darius trespassed into my home.
Darius' story is so textbook. I am no expert, but I have seen this behavior many times before. I have seen this behavior a lot. It's like they have no impulse control whatsoever. They want to be known as alpha men, but they can't even control their own tempers, even when they think they're controlling their own temper. This is it right here.
Uninvited without my knowledge or consent and physically attacked me. Shortly before 11 o'clock a.m., I was in my home talking on the phone with my mother when I was startled to suddenly see Darius burst through my bedroom door. We do not live together and I did not invite him into my home. When he entered my bedroom, he was filming me with his iPhone and said, I heard all I needed to hear. He demanded to see Leo. I asked him to leave. He acted as though he was leaving, so I followed him downstairs to ensure that was occurring. However, instead of leaving, Darius sat down in a chair in my living room. After continuing to try to convince him to leave, I moved around behind the chair to put some distance and furniture between us, as I was barely dressed and afraid of him. Darius kept repeating that he was there to take Leo, an 8-month-old baby who was being breastfed, to a football game. I explained that I did not agree that Leo should go to a football game and that we had no confirmed agreement or plan that he do so, and that Leo was not even at
Notice how he's using the baby as an anchor and a reason to be toxic. That's Banditry 101 right there. This is what being a zombie is all about. He does not care. He is operating on no logic whatsoever. He's on basic motor skills and rage. That is it. You cannot reason with something like that. It's like a zombie. Zombies, you know, they get bit and all of a sudden they're not themselves anymore. That they're not that human you might have thought you knew. There's something much, much worse.
Home. My sister L'Oreal had taken him to her former husband Frank's house to spend time with family. I asked Darius again to leave. My mother was telling him through the phone that he was trespassing, and I told him again that
Diamond, I might need to use that. It's a pandemic. If you see that, if you see that on a thumbnail, you know where I got it from.
He did not leave. I was going to call the police. I tried to remain calm, but I was again asking him to leave. He stood up from the chair, walked towards me, and made sure there was no furniture between us. He was yelling, leaning into me, getting into my face. At that point, he lunged at me, grabbing at my neck and face, knocking me backwards over the couch, stole my phone out of my hands, and ran out of the house. This was all captured by my home security camera, which will be played in court at the time of the hearing.
Yep.
True and correct
Pandemic number one.
copies of screenshots from the video are marked as Exhibit A. After Darius ran out of my house, he hurried into his car and attempted to drive away. I had blocked his exit with the recycling and garbage cans to keep him from driving away with my phone, and he nearly hit me with his car. It was only when my sister came out and there was another witness that Darius indicated he had thrown.
You can, especially somebody who can just buy another phone. What you do is you call, you grab. Number one, don't have this one. I'm sure she had more than one phone, but even if he took your phone, that's theft. He should be in jail right now. But you don't want to get into a squabble with this kind of zombie. There's a pandemic going on. I'm telling you, you don't want to get it. If they got your phone and you got another phone or another way to call a friend who's around who you can call 911, that's how you do it. Track the phone. As soon as you track it and you get it, brick it. Brick it. You can brick it, believe it or not. You have two ways of bricking a phone. This is important for everybody because this might happen to you. Make sure that you have remote phone services turned on your phone, whether it's an Android or, an iPhone. There's a Find My Phone feature for both, okay? And they have the ability of one, tracking your phone, two, bricking your phone. So whoever has it, if they were trying to go through your phone or whatever or something, you can make it so they just can't get on your phone. Okay? That's how you do it. And make sure your auto backup is in the mix as well. You want to make sure you do that, because then if they permanently take your phone, all you have to do is get another one and download, your data back onto the new phone. So that's how it rolls. Anyway, let me keep it going here. Here we go.
On my phone into the bushes further back in the cul-de-sac and got out of the car to retrieve my phone. This was also captured on the exterior security cameras at my home and will be played for the court at the time of the trial. Both my mother, Sharon Palmer, and my sister, Laurencia Palmer, who was upstairs in my home and came running down to help me after she heard me screaming, can provide corroborating testimony as to this event. The police were called and arrived before.
Let me drop the link just in case somebody wants to come down. Oops. Hold on one second. Let me just drop this link in here, just in case somebody wants to come up. Okay, here we go.
Darius left. After interviewing me, my sister, and Darius, they made him leave and warned him not to come back. They also encouraged me to file a domestic violence restraining order. I have requested a copy of the full police report, but do not have it as of the time of this filing. A true and correct copy of the police report will be provided.
Well, that's all bad. Unfortunately, there's so many Kiki situations out there. Whew. That's all bad. That is crazy. So, someone wanted me. Here's a question I have. Let me start playing this right here. Come on now. We have been. Nope, I don't want that one. I want. Let's go over here. That's live. I don't want to live. There we go. Right, everybody. Here we go. You might want to grab a drink. You see who I got on the stage, or I should say on the screen. Welcome, a lady. The pandemic never stops. Oh man, this is gonna be rough though. Look who I have on it. Look who I have. Here we go. He's gonna spin it. He's gonna spin it. It's gonna be all bad. Here we go.
Transpired between Kiki Palmer and her baby daddy, Darius Dalton. Of course.
See, I guarantee you, if you look back in his past on videos he did about Kiki Palmer, I bet he defended her baby daddy. That's how hypocritical these people are. Now she should have chose better. First he's defending the dude. Now she should have chose better. You see how fake these dudes are? Welcome, Serene. Whew. You know, here we go.
And Usher. And the reason why I'm here today is to talk about the 4 reasons why Darius Dalton is a Pookie, even though he has a net worth of $1 million. Because the problem is, when it comes to all of these conversations about high value men and Pookies, we actually think all of this has everything to do with money. And it
I call Kevin Samuels a Pookie. I call your boy a Pookie. You're a Pookie. Pookie to me is a man who behaves in a negative fashion regardless of value. He's volatile, worthless to anyone else but only himself. A Pookie is selfish, idiotic, destructive. That's what a Pookie is. They don't say that. He won't say it because he fits the bill. He's a Pookie his damn self. Just because he's calling other people Pookies doesn't mean he ain't a Pookie. I'm serious. I'm serious.
And the pot calls the kettle black. And the pot calls the kettle black.
That's what he's doing. He's a Pookie. Not only that, but he's damaging the community. At least a regular Pookie, they just damage who they run across. And eventually it damages the community. But this Pookie is training other men to be Pookies. Exactly, T. Unaccountable behavior equals Pookie. Insecure, yeah. Let's see how he's going to spin it. Yeah, they do that. Some YouTubers are talking about domestic abuse awareness after making videos about how she disrespected her man by dressing like that. Pookie Kang. Pookie, 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 Mr. Let Himself Go. Pookie, Pookie.
She doesn't. It's about values with an S and not just value without an S. See, value is
now
usually
he wants to try to teach us on something that he has none of. Because if he did, one value that a person has is respect and patience and candor, and he doesn't have any of that, and character. Yeah, that's true, King Lucifer. Trump is a Pookie and a half. Trump is a Pookie and a half, not just a Pookie. Trump is a Pookie, but, you know, Caucasian women, Caucasian men praise him to the utmost. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Let Himself Go. Let's keep it going.
About money, but values with an S is usually about moral compass and character.
Right,
So
which you don't have. Because if you had moral compass, you wouldn't be so disrespectful to black women. That's what's crazy.
Let's get into it. Being a Pookie has nothing to do with money. Is Future a Pookie? Future has more money than all of us put together.
Yeah, Future's a Pookie, but you had no problem, sir, cheering for him. And when he said, yeah, she belongs to the streets, when he was talking about Ciara, you had no problem with that. In fact, I bet I can find a video of you disrespecting Ciara. Yep, you better go ahead and put that shit on private. You guys are all hypocrites. That's why I can't respect you. You had no problem with dude. You had a problem with Kiki, though. So what you're trying to do is use dude as an excuse to be toxic about Kiki. That's what you're doing. You ain't fooling me, dude. You ain't fooling me.
But he's still a Pookie. Why? It's not about the money. It's about the character. The man has 30 baby mamas and 80 kids.
You didn't see, I don't know if he's been watching my videos. The ones that his boys come over and try to get on me about. You know what I mean? His boys be coming to the channel mad about me talking about Future and Kevin, who's a Pookie too. Okay? Yep. Hypocrite.
Character, not money. So with all that,
you know.
And the pot calls the kettle black. And the pot calls the kettle black.
that being said, why am I comparing Darius Dalton to Future? If you as a man go out here and impregnate a woman that either you don't marry or you have no intentions of marrying, it's about family dynamics. And a child needs to see, keyword see, their mom and dad operating together as a unit. And if they can't
no shit. Let me see something about Mr. Let Go. Give me 1 second here. It's Pookie 101. Oh, look, is this him? Is this him? 2 years ago.
Just 60. ATL, how old are you?
Yeah, you're going to sit. What'd you say?
How old are you?
45.
45. Do you have any kids?
Yeah, I got 2 kids, but they're grown.
Okay. How old are
2 kids. Let's see. Oh, wait.
they?
They are 20.
You can't even remember the age of his kid.
4 and 27. I don't even, my kid's so old, I don't remember how old they are.
Red flag. Red flag. See, I told you I exposed him. I told you I exposed this fool. I told you I exposed this fool. I told you. But do you notice his judgmental tone, right? His judgmental tone in his videos. He's just saying, but he's Pookie.
Yeah.
24,
But yeah, they're grown.
Okay. Same woman?
Same woman. Yeah. I was married.
You were married. You was married. Why did you get divorced?
Young. We was like 22, something like that.
Because he was an asshole. And I bet there's some, I guarantee you he cheated on her. Allegedly, I would say.
It just didn't work out.
Okay.
But
yeah, right. Didn't work out means that I put hands and feet on her or something like that, and then she told me to leave. Nah, that was just an observation. Clearing it up. Let's go.
Yeah.
The ladies like
We got married when he was like teenagers.
The ladies
Oh,
like
okay. Well, what's up, ladies?
So this is Aaron. When's your birthday?
My birthday is March.
So remember
7th.
now, his ex-wife is now a single mother, right? So, I understand things happen. Marriages break up. That I understand, but he's a little bit too judgmental. He's a little bit too judgmental to be, divorced for a very long time, by the way. His kids are 27. Let's keep it going.
March 7th is what? Aries?
Pisces.
Pisces. I'm sorry, I get Pisces and Aries mixed up. I apologize.
See, you could tell he's an asshole. You could just tell. He's naturally, that's why he's one of those kind of men that repulse women. He tries to have that veil of kindness or calmness, but really right now, he's really a big ball of rage and anger. And it comes out when he speaks about women. Let's keep on going here.
What do you do for a living?
I am a life coach. I am Mr. Let Go on Instagram.
Oh, the worst person you can have as a life coach. And he came on here just to promote his stupid thing.
And I help people let go of.
If he's a life coach, right? Why would you be on a dating show? I would be so pissed if I was Kendra, because she knows she's being used right now. She knows it.
Childhood trauma. So I do one-on-ones, things like that.
Wait, trauma, dude, you deliver trauma. Wait, I got to hear that again.
Life coach. I am Mr. Let Go on Instagram, and I help people let go of childhood trauma. So
he is trauma. What a piece of work.
I do one-on-ones, things like that.
That's how you pay your bills?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's a life coach. So
Sell courses. Yep.
Mr. Let Go. So this is Aaron in Atlanta, 45, 2 kids. Well, 2 grown children, 24 and 27. He's a Pisces and he's a life coach. Aaron, what kind of woman are you looking for?
I'm looking for a woman that has gotten a certain amount of understanding of who she actually is, instead of just somebody who's just going out looking to
look. Checkmate once again. Checkmate once again, ladies and gentlemen. He's already shown low value, okay, by coming on the show and using the platform to promote his channel. 2, let's say if he was sincere about finding the right woman. He is a life coach. right? He's a life coach. Why can't he find somebody on his own? He is the one who's going to give out advice to other people to move on and find the right person. So he's either a trash life coach or he's a piece of crap and cannot find a woman. Hey, it doesn't. You saw my Tyler Perry video. This is checkmate once again. It's checkmate. He's either trash to be around, okay, or he's on here being devious to promote his own show on a dating show. And let me tell you, Kendra hates that shit. Okay? Or he's desperate. Which one? It's all bad. It's all bad. I'm telling you. It's all bad. So he's so desperate that he is so repulsive that he cannot find a woman without help from another dating coach. Right? He's so desperate and so trash, he needs to get help to find somebody, though he calls himself a life coach. I would like to see his credentials. LW breaks it down like this. How the F does he help people let go of childhood trauma? What does he know about trauma with his life coaching course? Assuming he actually did a course. Yes, exactly. This guy is a joke. Bars. I feel the same way. There's no way of getting around this. He's either being devious, which is a horrible trait. Either being devious, showing a horrible trait, or he's trash. Because that's the only reason a life coach would need to go on would need to go on a channel. Let me keep it going.
Get attached to somebody in a relationship just to be in a relationship.
Let me pause. I like to wish Darnell happy birthday. You know, one of our panelist buddies. Everybody wish him a happy birthday. Put some, say happy birthday in the chat. I'm going to keep going though. I'm going to keep going. I am going to keep going. Here we go.
Somebody who's taken the time to heal herself or deal with whatever happened in the past, whether it's an ex-boyfriend or something in the past or whatever, especially with what I do, I'm not going to say it's hard, but at the end of the day, sometimes when you know a lot.
See, he's not on here. I can tell you right now, he's not on here looking for a woman because he wouldn't be talking this kind of shit. If he thinks this is all bad. Every time I see this dude, he gets worse.
As far as what women have went through, you're like, I want this. But the thing about it is
he's trying what a piece of garbage. One of the most evil, deceitful, rude people ever on YouTube. Narcissistic, at least in my opinion, trying to tell other people how to live better. But all he's doing, this is a man here A broken man breaking broken men. A broken man breaking broken men. It's crazy. It's crazy. So let's go back. Let's go back to his. Here he is, right? Here he is. Here he goes. This is hot off the presses. Here we go.
That because y'all ain't under the same roof. You, sir, are a pookie. And even though you don't have 18 kids like Future does, you may be on a road of having a whole bunch of kids because you are probably still young and you just haven't had your next baby mama yet. Just like when these dudes and these women have babies out of wedlock and they ain't with the other person. They think, oh, well, it's okay.
He thinks he's getting a pass because he got married and then he got a divorce. He still left somebody behind with kids. Welcome, Hazel. Hazel breaks it down like this. DJ Torch, Cynthia G. Tour, let go. I knew ASS. He hasn't any schooling or college degree. There you go. Thank you, Hazel. He's a charlatan. He's a charlatan. A charlatan. A charlatan. No credentials. Mr. Let himself go.
One baby. Well, if you do it over here, most likely you're going to do it over here. So 5 years later, you got 2 children or 3 children. So that is the first reason why Darius Dalton is a pookie, even though he is worth $1 million. He
And the pot calls the kettle black.
put a baby in Kiki Palmer and did not marry Kiki Palmer. And before I get to number 2,
Deeper discussion card game is meant to give you and other players, people,
is the most annoying.
these are the cards.
do you think this woman would have actually went out and embarrassed him the way she did? Because it's one thing about being serenaded by Usher. Do you all have to do when it comes to having children is to marry our women? The reason why is because, do you think if Kiki Palmer, that's the importance of marriage? Because I did say as long as people in the same household. But
he's one of those guys who think marriage, here, get this. This is a guy who's divorced, who thinks marriage is the key. This is a guy who's divorced, who thinks marriage is the key.
And the pot calls the kettle black.
Look, I am not defending Darius or whatever that creep's name is. But this guy might be worse than Darius. And Darius is pretty freaking bad.
Thing.
Darius should be in prison.
Number one thing that we all have to do when it comes to having children is to marry our women. The reason why is because, do you think if Kiki Palmer would have been Kiki Palmer Dalton, think about this. Do you think this woman would have actually went out and embarrassed him the way she did?
She didn't embarrass him. He embarrassed himself. From what I heard, she had already broken up with him. He embarrassed himself by being a jerk. And you see the results. You see the results. The results are he embarrassed himself. She can do what she wants to do. She should have been cool. She would have done this. Look, another thing is this. She's an entertainer. Remember when DDG got mad at Holly because she was kissing some guy in a movie? That's not Hallie's fault. This is not Kiki's fault. It's called men with bad impulse control, which by Mr. Let Himself Go's behavior, he's the same type.
Because it's one thing about being serenaded by Usher. She literally was having sex with the man on the stage. She's literally the one that ran up and started hugging him.
She did nothing. There was nothing wrong with that, dude.
She's literally the one that...
He's trying to insinuate she had sex with him on the stage. This is what I hate about these overly evil, fake moral men. There is nothing she did wrong. If he was so moralistic, he'd still be married. I bet he's the reason the marriage went bad.
Out and embarrassed him the way she did. Because it's one thing about being serenaded by Usher. She literally was having sex with the man.
No, she wasn't. I watched it.
On the stage. She's literally the one that ran up and started hugging him. She's the one who literally started putting a leg all up on a man. She didn't have to do all that. She had her cheeks out while doing it. And then she did a little spin move and looked back at him like, if
she would do that on stage anyway, you stupid idiot. There's women in the 50s, dancers in the 50s, singers in the 50s who would wear something like that and would do something like that. They're on stage. That's just how it goes. This is one of those fake moralists where he does immoral stuff, right? But judges other people, in my opinion. They're all the same, just like Kevin Samuels. Oh yeah, you guys gotta be hard. You gotta behave right. Oh, where's one of my 6 hoes? Just like Kevin Samuels would do. All you guys get on my nerves.
If you want it, here it is. If she would have been a Dalton and not a Palmer, is a good possibility that ring on her finger would have had her.
Nope. Not at all. No wonder you got a divorce, sir. You don't even know how women operate whatsoever. You don't even know. Look at the picture over here. Listen, she's not grinding them. There's about a good foot and a half right here. Okay? She's not grinding on them. Not in the least bit. See, that's what I hate is when people start stuff that don't need to be started. This guy is doing more damage than he is. He's not even repairing anybody. Let's face it. He's like one of those people who are a plumber, who say they're a plumber, but next thing you know, you got a flood in your house. That's who he is.
Her like, all right, I'm doing too much. Let me just hang back and let him serenade me. I'm not going to be all up in his face.
Now he's trying to tell women what to do. Mr. Divorced himself. Maybe, I don't know, who knows? Maybe he has a second life as a woman. Who knows? You know, he's a cross-dresser or something. I'm not going to tell women what to do. Not in a judgmental way, that's for sure. I might say, hey, you know, dude's a creep. I would stay away from him. I would say that shit. I'd be that direct. But I'm not going to tell women how to be women. There was nothing wrong with what she did. I like that. A bootleg therapist. That's exactly who he is. That's exactly who he is, a bootleg therapist. Man, yeah, I will tell you one thing. That chat is lit tonight. Y'all have it lit up in there. A bootleg therapist, you know. Oh man, that was off. That's off the hook. That is off the hook.
And doing all this other stuff, she would have been more of a lady. See, there's a saying called...
That wasn't his woman, you fool. He made that clear. Why does he always have this creepy eye, his creepy one eye's closed more than the other look on his? This is another part of the video. And every time I stop the video, one of his eyes is always more shut than the other. Damn, that's creepy.
Making a woman an honest woman. If you look up making a woman an honest woman, what does that mean?
Well, the problem is there's no honest men. Black men are 3 times more promiscuous than black women, sir. You can look it up. Look at some of the pillars of the community. Look at them. We just went through what? Ocho Cinco, T.O. On a video from a night or two ago, what? We had Cam Newton, who I loved as a football player. Everybody wants to be a hoe. Everybody wants to be a hoe. How can a woman, what does a woman have to be honest to? Then you want to say start the scarcity bullshit. Well, there's more black women than black men by 2 million. Well, then that's even worse. And I guarantee you he's just as bad. Apex breaks it down like this. These people need to be charged with fraud because what the F? How is a single woman minding her business have to do with them? Exactly, bars. Bars. Bars.
That means make a woman a wife. When a woman isn't a wife, she just run around here like a little child.
See, he's trying to make it seem like it's women that are out of control when it's men that are out of control. We're the one deleting each other every hour, not black women. We're the one deleting women 4.5, not black women. We're the ones who are more incarcerated than black women by at least 10 times. So you can get where I'm going here. Uh-oh. Run out of power on my iPad. Okay. You can see where I'm going here. Fella, you're barking up the wrong tree. Women have more control because they have to, because of people like you. They have to protect themselves from. I mean, if you were so high value and such a great person, you wouldn't have to go on Kendra G's show. If you were such a, and let's say, well, I was just on there promoting my dating coach, deceitfully, of course, right? If that was the case, you still didn't have to go on the show because business would be booming. Oh, but business is, then you're greedy. Either way, it's checkmate. You're a piece of crap. I mean, I see that shit. If you're a life coach, then oh shit, I'll be a life coach. I'm not a life coach, but since you're just going to pop out of the blue and say you're a self-proclaimed life coach, you know, so my phone is a life coach. Here, my phone is a life coach. If you could be one, my phone could. And you know something? I bet this phone is probably smarter than you. Yeah. Oya says this. What the F? Is he serious? I can't believe someone was actually married to this fool. They probably can't believe it either. His reply was, oh, well, I was young. What he doesn't realize is he was still an adult. And I bet he hasn't changed. I bet he behaved the same way back then as he does now. Yeah, T, you're correct, T. When black women called out Darius controlling behavior, he was one of the ones that didn't believe us. I'm not a woman, but I said the same thing. I was like, there's something wrong with this dude. There was something wrong with this dude 3 months ago. Yep. Let me keep it going.
Doing all kinds of stupid stuff because nobody is here to speak for her. But when a man marries her, she now has his last name. I'll say it again. She now has his last name, and he is now represented by what she does because she holds his last name. In this situation, Darius did not give this woman his last name.
See, he's actually half-ass defending Darius. That's what I got. See, he didn't fool me. He's trying to call him a Pookie, but he's not calling him a Pookie. And I understand why, because between him and Darius, they're probably the same person. The King Lewis of them cheeks are nice, though. You know. Oh, thank you, Act Natural Fun. I didn't. We all helped. We all helped. You know. You know, yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, look, I'm a life coach. Where it's like, here, my mouse is a life coach. But yeah, basically that's how it is.
So that means she is not an honest woman, which means she is going to run around acting like a little child because nobody.
Wait a minute. If he had everything figured out and knew how to look for a woman, right? He's probably in his mid-40s, maybe his 50s, right? But he's going to die alone with the dog alone, just like technically what Kevin happened to Kevin, right? You know?
Body's responsible for her. Remember.
So he took this out of end of the story. Basically, he's taking this as an opportunity to disrespect black women once again. He started off slick by trying to make it sound like he was trying to give men some sort of a coach up. But now all he's doing is disrespecting black women, most of which probably have a higher IQ than he does. Apex breaks it down like this. I find it so weird. These black men will scream about racism, being treated unfair, etc., but will literally white supremacy gaslight will use white supremacy gaslighting techniques to suppress black women. This is wild. You nailed it. That's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. It reminds me of a piece of my mind's, what was it called? I think it was called Negroes for Sale. You got to see that. LW breaks it down. Yes, I called it immediately. I am not surprised in any way about what happened going to do a video about it. Yeah, what happened? Going to do a video about it. Yeah, he is still defending him because they are the same. Exactly. I mean, that's what LW, I'll tell you one thing about the manosphere. You can get a whole lot of material about toxic people here. Ain't no shortage of toxics around here. That's for sure.
We're taking money out of this situation. So it's not about Kiki's money. It's not about his money. It's about him not marrying her, but putting a baby in her, right? So
no, he was a bandit before that. He was a pookie before that. Brina West breaks it down like this. He defends Darius when reacting to DV footage. Yep. He actually verifies mommy issues by talking about his own childhood. How can you be so dumb? Boom. Bars.
If she was married, it's a very good possibility that she would not have been as thirsty as she was or would not have wore that outfit. So when he started talking mess about...
She wasn't, see? He keeps repeating the same shit. Oh, man. So let's find out how dumb he is. Let's go back here and see if he's going to say anything else stupid.
To make sure you don't exclude everybody, because now you're not really going to be able to find nobody if you're too confused. Not confused, but confused.
He can't even explain what he's doing. He can't even explain it right. He sounds like a hustler. Let me go back to that. He's going to bore me there. I'm gonna let him go in a minute. Get it? Let him go in a minute. Yeah, no pun intended. Here we go.
My family, and she's not representing her man.
Remember, he has no family. He gave that up, either by his own actions or by not trying hard enough to be the right man for his woman. Remember now, he comes from the camp that you get married early. But for his excuse for getting a divorce, he said he was young. Oh, I know that hurt. You know? I know that hurt. Because I got him again. I got you, bro. You guys preach on when, what's her name came out? What was her name? Ebony came out with their little spiel about getting married in college. Y'all were all for that, right? But now the reason why you got divorced was you were young. But see, the math doesn't math anymore because, look, check this out. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Well, so if you were young, but if you get married now, or if you got married in your 30s, then you were marrying a woman that was probably hitting the wall, right? Ooh, you see how your shit doesn't work? Your spiel, your whole manosphere spiel, it always caves on itself. It always implodes. If women hit the wall at 30, but wait a minute, you were young, was your reason for getting a divorce? She was young. If that's the case, then what age are women supposed to get married at? If men are young, which means you probably cheated on her. That's usually the code for it. That's the bro code, by the way. Or he was not nice to her. Let's just put it that way, right? I mean, you guys didn't get divorced because you guys loved each other. You didn't get a divorce because you guys were nice to each other. You guys didn't get a divorce because, you know, you were young. I mean, you got married and you were young when you got married, right? You weren't old when you got married, right? You were young when you got married. So if you were young when you got married, right? You were young when you got a divorce. But you used being young as a reason to get a divorce, which is fine. Things happen, bro. I understand. But that's not the reason you got the divorce. It's not. Because you were young when you got married. You were young when you got married. So you can't, it can't be the reason. You were young when you got married, bro. Marriage was good when you were young, right? So being young is just a code word to me for something else that you don't want to tell us, that you didn't want to tell Kendra G. Here's the funny part. You've built your online business on judging young women for being young. But it's okay for you to be young and get a divorce. You were so young that you had to get a divorce. That's what you're saying. Nobody else can do that, but you can. You can get a divorce because you were young. But if a woman gets a divorce, oh, it was her fault. Oh, 90% of women, why did they always call it off? They're the ones who call it off, you know, because, you know, they don't want to hang in there, get hands and feet on them. They should take the hands and feet, right? Because that's what a lot of the reasons why women get a divorce. Quite honestly, right now, let's say Darius, right, let's say Darius married her. They'd still be in the same spot right now. He would just have to get a divorce. And now we see why he didn't get married. Because he himself knew, Darius knew he was the same black man. He knew it. Y'all the same. Knowing you'll probably take Darius under your wing and make him even worse with your coaching skills.
And well, she's not supposed to represent her man. She's supposed to represent her husband. And one last.
Wow, and you're an expert at that, right? You're an expert at being a husband. You're an expert. But you were young. So if you were young, right, and then you knew you were young back then, right? So what you're telling me is, it's like if somebody is young and they make mistakes and they need to fix themselves and they need to build themselves up, well, you're not young anymore, sir. It's been 20 years. That's plenty of time to find yourself and then find a wife. But instead, you're on here judging other people. Man, I didn't expect to be on this dude this long. I really didn't.
Last thing before we go to number 2. Back in the day, mailboxes used to have names on them and not numbers. These days, your mailbox has your number on it. You know why? Because so many people aren't married. See,
this stupid fool. This stupid fool. Let me tell you why he's a stupid fool. They started putting numbers on the boxes because people didn't want to be found. You idiot. Nobody. I got to play that over again.
Used to have names on them and not number. Man, she's supposed to represent her husband. And one last thing before we go to number 2.
He thinks when he goes, her husband, that's supposed to like just nail it home. Listen to this. Listen to it one more time. Here we go. This nigga is really doubling down on the pookification. Oh my God. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Pookification. Pookification. That's it. Okay. Listen to him again.
Back in the day, mailboxes used to have names on them and not numbers. These days, your mailbox has your number on it. You know why? Because so many people aren't married.
Wait a minute. Okay. Why did the post office remove names from mailboxes? Well, the only thing that came up was this. Why did the post office remove a mailbox near my house? I know he black. That's why. But anyway, USPS gives residents the freedom to decide whether they want to display their name on the curbside mailbox. Many residents prefer to display their name on their curbside mailbox because it helps the couriers identify them. Okay. Are you required to have a name on a mailbox? No, USPS does not require to have a name on a mailbox. Please be aware that a name and address, at least a street number on a mailbox is very helpful. Yeah, of course. You don't even have to have a street address. I guarantee you, I am not putting no name on my mailbox. That's for sure. I am not going to have some creep trying to find me by my mailbox. That's the number one thing. I could dig in deep. It ain't nothing about marriage. Okay? You can go to rich people's mailbox who've been married for 40 years. They got a number. Numbers are where it's at. Oh, man. Hey, he walked into that one, didn't he? I would like him to go over why he has an ex-wife and kids. Notice how he said ex-wife and the kids. Did you guys catch that? Type a 1 in the chat if you caught that. Ex-wife and kids. X being the key word. Man. No, it's numbers over here. People have the option to have numbers, married or not. I cannot go anywhere in this location and find a name. Nobody wants a name here. Nobody wants a name here. Yeah, they're separate from him. The way he said it, I'm not going to instigate, but the way he said that made it sound like they want nothing to do with him. You see that? This guy's just making shit up. That is so funny to me. I don't know who gave me this video, gave me the idea to grab this video. I thank you for this. Was Soraya, was that you? I can't remember. It was either Brina or Soraya, but somebody told me about Mr. Let Himself Go, and that was a great idea. That was a great idea because he brought it home. One more. Let's go over this. Okay, we're going to go back. Okay, so this just goes over some of the abusers of the week. Okay. Chris Brown. The thing is this, if Chris Brown was married, he's still Pookie. Who else do we have here? Well, let's see what she was saying here. Right. Sorry, my bad. Here we go.
Not in the public. So it made it really difficult.
To say about the situation.
I am strong. This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. There are a lot of women who've experienced what I did, but not in the public. So it made it really difficult. I just felt like, oh my God, here goes my little bit of privacy. Just people exposed. Like, it's something that nobody wants anybody to know. So here I am, the whole world knowing.
Why be ashamed?
Because I didn't want people to think that that's the kind of person I fell in love with. That person. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing that that's the type of person that I fell in love with. So far in love, so unconditional that I went back.
On average, I think it takes a woman 7 times.
Oh my God. You hear that? Love so unconditional. This is more about Rihanna in this part. It's just the pain. You can hear the pain in her voice. You can hear the pain in her voice. That's all bad. So let's do a recap. I'm going to do a quick recap. Here we go. So,
You with Lamar Jackson, you watching?
we went over.
I'll forget nothing like that, boy. 17 women. 17? 17, boy.
All right. Recap number 1. 2 pillars of the community bragging about an orgy with 17 women in 12 hours. Wonderful. Hey, let's give them a hand of applause for degeneracy. Way to go, guys. Way to role model it. Okay. Then we go to the predator cop who gets called to help and becomes a criminal himself. You can't make this shit up. Then
Hear me out. I have a very
Chantel
controversial.
Simone condoning violence, basically, in my opinion, by telling men that if a woman gets out of pocket, whatever that means to that man, she's all good with him giving that woman a brick up across the face. Way to go, Chantel. All right, hey, way to go, Chantel. Then we went over how domestic violence is 40% for Black women. That's a damn high number. Okay? Then we went over
a lot of women, especially Black women. And
all right. Look at it. Look at him. Look at him there. Tyler Perry doing his best Kevin Samuels imitation. Way to go. Way to go. Remember, it's okay. And then, last but not least, not last.
Just a few days after welcoming their...
There he is. Where is he at? There he is. Beautiful little kid, but we're going to the bandit himself.
I don't think...
There he is. The bandit himself. Hands and feet over one of the most famous Black women in the United States. Way to go, guy. Way to make Black men look good. Or mixed Black men. Whatever you want to be. Then, the piece de la resistance unfortunately became this fool. Mr. Let Himself Go. Mr. The Divorced. Giving advice after being divorced for 20 years. That sounds like the kind of life coach I want. Untrained, no experience in successful relationships. Because if he was, he'd be in one, and it would be a successful relationship. But he couldn't be on one because he was just on this freaking show. That's that. That's that. Let's kick the beat. Y'all can chat, whatever you want to do. Thanks again. Coming through. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. This was a great show. See you on the next one. Having fun. Darnell, if you're out there and you join Prisms, Google invite, please. We out. Oh, yeah. Again, happy birthday, darling.